Guess what I had to do at age 25 in order to change my own future? I had to change my mind. I had to change my thinking. I had to change my philosophy. I was messed up on what was causing my problem. And once I got that straightened out, that all the stuff I blamed, the government, taxes, the marketplace, and the economy, and things cost too much, negative relatives, cynical neighbors, once I got rid of that and started going for where the real problem was, which was me, I'm telling you, my life exploded into change. My bank account changed immediately. My income changed immediately. My whole life took on a whole new look and color immediately. And the early results I got from making these philosophical changes tasted so good, I've never stopped the process from that day. And I'm telling you, with a little consideration of the refinement of your sail, by setting a better sail, refining your philosophy, your whole life can start to change the day on. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to wait till next month. You don't have to wait till spring. You don't have to wait till 93. You can start this whole process immediately. I recommend it. Now, some people do so little thinking, they don't even have their sail up. I mean, you can imagine where they're going to wind up at the end of this week, at the end of this month, at the end of this year. Now's the chance to change, process all this information. So number one is philosophy. And we dealt with all that, where we get ideas, personal experience, from other people's experiences. I don't want to get into all those details because we covered that the last time I was here. But philosophy, that's number one, my personal opinion. Each person's personal philosophy. Here's the definition of success and failure. Just make this note. Here's failure. A few errors in judgment repeated every day. Now you can automatically assume, Mr. Rohn, I say, I can understand that. A few errors in judgment repeated every day. For 6 years, I'm with my father. I think I told this story the last time I was here. My father, 88 years old, he's never been ill, still hasn't retired. Not long ago, midnight, we're getting ready to go to bed. Drilled a new well, got some extra water, got some more acres going, he's all excited. At midnight, we're getting ready to go to bed. My father's eating what he calls his midnight snack. A little bite to eat before you go to bed. Don't have to go to bed hungry. And I'm watching him eat this midnight snack. Guess what he had? An apple, a few graham crackers, and a glass of grapefruit. I said, no wonder my father's so healthy. My mom taught us all those good health practices. Taught me when I'm growing up, right? I'm an only child. I've never been ill. Passed the big 5-0 some time ago. My 2 daughters, 32, 33, never been ill. My grandkids, never been ill. I'm telling you, the legacy lingers on. As I watched my father have this midnight snack, suddenly occurred to me. I know that's part of it. An apple, what? A day. That's gotten to Dallas-Fort Worth, right? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Good question for this intelligent audience. What if that's true? You say, well, Mr. Rohn, if that's true, that would be easy to do. Then what's the problem? It's easy not to do. It's easy not to adopt it as your own personal philosophy. Or the guy messed up to say. Guy says a Hershey bar a day. You say, no. You've been watching too much television. It is not Hershey bar. You gotta be smarter in philosophy than to fall for the Hershey bar a day when it's an apple a day. You gotta be smarter than that. And if you make that kind of an error in judgment every day for 6 years, I'm telling you, it'll accumulate into disaster. Sometimes the first year you say, well, I'm so healthy now, what difference is it gonna make? You gotta be smarter than that. Just because disaster doesn't fall on us at the end of the first day doesn't mean disaster isn't coming. You gotta be so smart that you look down the road and say, will the errors in my present judgment of philosophy, what's that going to cost me in 1 year, 6 years, 1 month, 6 months? I'm telling you, the money cost and the health cost and the success cost is too gigantic if you'll look down the road a little ways and say, are there errors in my current judgment like an apple versus a Hershey bar? Is that just a good illustration of some of the rest of my errors in judgment? If it is, that's where I found myself at age 25.
I was parked. I knew I could do more. But when my mama died, it took something out of me. When I went through a divorce, it took something out of me. When my best friend died, it took something out of me. I paused, and somebody said that life is like an onion. You have to peel it one layer at a time. And sometimes you cry. Life's going to happen to you when you have a dream. You're going to get slapped around. And don't take it personal. Don't ask, why did this have to happen to me? Why not you? Who would you suggest? You want to give us some names, some email addresses? And don't tell everybody. 80% don't care, and 20% glad it's you. It's called life. Suck it up and move on. Get over it. It happens to everybody. Here's the other thing is you look at your goals and look at your dreams. When you're going through some stuff, repeat out to me, please. When things go wrong, don't go with them. Yes, write that down. When things go wrong, don't go with them. When you're working on a business deal, you're counting on some money. Someone said you will get the loan and it falls through. You have an event and the people that you thought would be there and support you, they don't come through. Or someone turns against you or you get ripped off. It's going to happen to you. Happened to me. Someone stole all my products, my database, over 180,000 names and addresses. It's not personal. It's going to happen to everybody. It does. 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. Walt Disney had 7. He filed bankruptcy 7 times and had 2 nervous breakdowns. It's called life. But I got a saying, when life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. You've got the power in you to do that. You've got something special. You've got comeback power.
When I was home, I lived in a car for 3 years. I made some decisions in my life, man, and threw myself off a cliff. My decision in October 8th, 1985, I walked into a comedy club for the first time on a dare from a girl. I walked into a comedy club for the first time. Had never heard of a comedy. All my life, I wanted to be on TV. Had never heard of a comedy. October the 8th, I walked into Hilarity's Comedy Club in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. That's right outside Akron. I signed up for the following week because I just wanted to see what the comedians did. Man, I saw live stand-up for the first time. They had 10 acts supposed to go up. 9 of them went up. 10th guy got scared and ran out the door. So I had signed up for the following week. The guy says, listen, we lost our 10th act. We're going to go to the phones. We're going to go to the week from next week. If Steve Harvey's here, come on up now. And the crowd started clapping. I was eating a chicken wing and drinking some grapefruit juice, and I turned to the girl and I said, it's a dude in here, got the same name I got. She said, you the stupidest bastard I know. All right, I'm getting close to that. It's that time limit. I was hanging in there, Grand. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Grand. How long was I up here for? Did I get 20 in? Amen. Usually around 15, 20. So I ran up on stage. I don't even know what to do, but I just started talking about boxing, stuff that happened to me. Audience was hollering, laughing. They brought all 10 of us back up on stage. They had a clap off. I won the clap off. I won $50. I cried from Cuyahoga Falls to Cleveland. The girl kept saying, why you crying? It ain't but $50. I said, no, you don't understand. Way more than this what I do. She said, what you mean this what you do? This just your first time. You don't understand. Something happened to me. I won every night. I went to work the next day, October 9th, 1985, and quit my job.
Something to think about. Or did I completely lose you? Let me know. Are you with me on this? Yes or no? Yes? All right. So let me show you something. Now we're going to get intense. Get my book, by the way. It's called Max Out Your Life. I'm putting the screen up here, guys. You can get my book. I got another one coming next year. This one's good. It's like a booklet. It's like 100 pages. You can read it in a day. It's got all kinds of tactics and strategies. If you don't have the $9 or whatever it is, don't get it. Follow me on social media. Go to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Listen to my stuff. It's good. I'm going to brag for a minute. One time. I already told you what an idiot I am. I produce the best content in the world by a mile. I'm just going to tell you. It's the most tactical, the most detailed, the most inspirational, the most real, because I'm real. I've actually built something. I've actually done something. I don't come to events to sell you stuff. Sorry, I get emotional about it because I want you to win. I want you to be better. All my stuff is free. Okay? And I got a podcast you should listen to. I got a coaching program called theartesyndicate.com. All right. So now we're going to get intense. Okay. I'm a Christian man. I want to say this first. I'm a Christian man. My children, Max was 3 years old. We're in the back of the car one day and he said the F word. And my wife's dad was a pastor. Her brother's a pastor. I said, where in the world he had never heard me cuss. I said, where'd you learn the word? He goes, Mama says it every time somebody cuts her off, Daddy. So he learned a bad word. My son had never heard me cuss until the story I'm about to tell you. But if I don't cuss telling you the story, it won't be real. So I'm about to say some bad words. Are you all okay with that? Say yes, because it's the real deal. It really happened, okay? So I want to talk to you about winning now, okay? We got the emotional part of our life. Now we need to win. Here's the deal. You got to quit playing around. Time's running out on you. I don't care how old you are. It was yesterday, brother. I was your age. I was cool, sexy, and young. Now I'm old, beat up, and achy, okay? Let me tell you, time flies. Time flies. I'm 50 freaking years old next month. I can't even believe I'm saying that out loud. 50 years old next month. My son, I'm the type of dad, you can put that up on the screen. I'm the type of dad, man, because I was an athlete, I played college baseball, I played Division I college baseball. I was a good player, I wasn't a great player. I had a catastrophic injury that formed a tumor. I started to lose part of my right leg that ended my career. It probably would have ended eventually anyways, but my career ended. So when I had a son, I did not want to be that dad. Any of you have boys in sports or girls in sports, you know that dad? You know the dad I'm talking about? The crazy dad? The guy that thinks his 5'6", 240-pound son's going to play in the NFL. You know that dude, right? You should laugh at that. That's funny as hell, right? Has no genetic chance whatsoever of ever playing professional sports, but this dude's going to turn him into one. So when my son started playing sports, I'm just going to be honest with you. My son is not athletically gifted. My daughter is. Bless his heart. In fact, Max was so bad when he played baseball, we for years could not figure out whether this poor kid was left or right-handed. And I'm dead serious when I tell you this. To this day, I still don't know. He eats right-handed. He writes left-handed. He can't throw or catch. You you cannot play catch with a baseball with my son because he will probably get hit in the face. To this day, he is just not athletic. We put him in every sport. Football, flag football, he was the kid who blocked. You know what kids block, right? You know what I'm talking about. Basketball, no bueno. He went an entire season and did not score a basket, okay? Baseball, which was my sport, I got on the best hitting coaches on the planet. We just called him a switch hitter because we had no idea. So finally he stops playing sports. I'm like, you know what? But he's a hard worker. He's watched his dad work hard. Golf. And then, of course, when he started playing golf, left or right-handed, I had no idea. Still probably not sure. My son started playing in tournaments. We moved out to the desert. This is a picture of us. And I was this dad. I used to tell Max, hey, Max, you know Daddy loves you whether you finish first or last. You ever say that to your kids? I can't love you more if you win. My son started to take that stuff very seriously. And so we would go out, and where we lived, I moved where a bunch of professional golfers live and their son. And so the tour my son played on, your dad caddied for you. So I want you to picture, you're walking around, I'm carrying his bag 4 or 5 hours. I'd show up to the golf course, tattoos, Adidas pants on, tennis shoes, tank top. My kid's got some used set of golf clubs from Roger Dunn, ragamuffin little outfit. You can see it right there. That's not me. That's me and him playing golf right there. And then we play against these kids. Dad played on the PGA Tour. He's got this perfect outfit that identically matches his son, best golf clubs, best instructors in the world. Everybody we played with were pros. And so my son, we would play. My son's such a good boy. I always want him to be happy for everybody else. My son played on this tour. I want you to hear what I'm about to tell you. He played 32 tournaments. He finished last in 32 tournaments. Not third or fifth or 18th. Last in 32 tournaments. And we had a good time. We get in the car. I said, hey, have some fun, buddy. He shot 104. Winner shot 68. You have fun, buddy? Hey, Dad, that was awesome. Just got to be with my daddy today. And I'm like, good, I'm glad you had fun. Every week we would do this. Walk around, finish last, finish last, finish last. Did you have fun? Don't worry about it. My son's such a good kid. He'd top his first drive into a lake. You'd hit a good drive. Nice shot, Brian. Such a good shot. Everyone loved Max. Guy makes a big putt. Max was more excited for you when you made a big putt than you were that you made a big putt. Not a competitive bone in his body. And I thought it was great. I was building his self-esteem, building his self-confidence. He's not going to play professional golf anyways. And we would go week after week after week. And I thought I was, being a good dad. And then this happened. He's warming up that day. See what he's wearing there? It's a good golf swing. He's in a good position. Max's problem wasn't his swing. Max's problem was up here. Max's problem was up here. He didn't believe in himself. He didn't want to compete. He didn't really want to get after it. And so we played 9 holes that day. 2 professional guys are in our group. And here comes the bad news. We're at the turn. There's about a 100-yard walk between the 9th and 10th hole. And on this tour, the kids get a boxed lunch at the turn. We're playing with 2 dudes. The first dad has won on the PGA Tour, and his dad won on the PGA Tour. And now we're playing with his son. There's 3 generations. The other guy's a good player, and his dad played on tour too. And one of the dads says, we're walking, having a good time. Max is 11 back, 11 out of first place after 9 holes. And we get to the turn, and you have to go get the sandwiches, but they got to go hit. And one of the dads turns and says, hey, boys, you guys go ahead up there. We'll walk up to the deal. Max is out of it. He'll go grab your lunch for you. And Max goes, yeah, I'll get it. And he starts to walk. I said, stop. I said, what the fuck did you just say to my son? Sorry, to be real with you. I said, what the fuck did you just say? I said, we don't get your lunch, dude. I don't know who the hell you think you're talking to. You don't ever speak to my boy that way. I said, tell you what we're going to do. You guys go up to the tee box. I'll go get the lunch. Max, you stay right here right now. Now remember, this is, I love you, son. Never heard me cuss in his life. Now he's like, Dad, right? I got a tank top on. Max is 10 years old. I said, get over here. I said, get over. We're going to fucking win today. He goes, what, Dad? I'm scared. What, Dad? What about, you love me with her? I go, that's out the window. We're going to fucking win today. No one speaks to us like that. You hear me? And I'm shaking him. But I'm also anchoring it. Big emotional state, and I'm touching. I said, we're going to fucking win today, man. Well, Dad, I don't. I said, Max, listen to me. Here's what we're going to do. First, we're changing shirts. We're putting on your winning shirt. He had another shirt in his golf bag. I changed his identity physically. I said, you throw this jersey on. I said, come here. We're going to win today. Here's what we're going to do. No practice swings. Dad, I've never done this. We didn't line up putts. I let him pick his clubs. I said, I'm going to pick every club you hit. You're going to pick every club you hit. No practice swings. You execute. You got a beautiful swing, Max. You got a better swing than all of these guys out here. You're more flexible. You can hit it longer than most of them. We're going to win. Now remember, he's 11 back with 9 holes. I said, we're going to win. It's okay, Daddy. It's okay. I said, now listen, you go up to the tee. You hit the 3-wood. Don't hit that driver, because he sprays this driver. I said, you hit that 3-wood. I'm shaking. Look at this. You think I'm kidding? You see that? I said, you hit that 3-wood. No practice swings. You get up there and smooth it, Max. You smooth it. Okay, Dad. And I watch him. My little boy, my heart's breaking because I've never made him compete before. And I'm watching him walk. Max walk like this. All the way to the tee box. I'm getting the sandwich. I'm going to beat the shit out of this dad who said my kid, right? Right? I'm the nice guy. I'm the Christian guy. We're going to have bubbles and gum when we're done here. And I watch Max from a distance walk up, grabs his 3. Here's how bad Max was. You ever watch any of the know golf? My son can't even tee the ball. I'll never forget this. You know, normal players, like, they tee it up, they get behind it. Max was always like, trying to get the ball to balance on the tee. That uncoordinated. Finally gets the ball to balance on the tee. He comes back, no practice swing. Whoosh. right down the pooper, right down the middle. And I see it. I'm like, we're in business. And I kind of watch Max. He kind of hits it. He kind of flips his club a little bit from a distance. I'm like, all right. I get up there. I go, give me the club, man. I said, nice shot. And I'm walking down. I said, we're going to win today, Max. We're going to win today, Max. We're going to win today, Max. That was awesome. You smoked it. You're 3 weeks longer than their friggin' driver. He gets up there. I said, okay, I've never done this. Now I'm getting specific in detail. Before it was like, hey, hit a good shot. Now I'm like, look, hit this 8-iron. I want it 10 feet left of the hole. He goes, okay, Dad. I said, no practice swing. Sure enough, he gets up, hits it about 20 feet left of the hole. We got a 20-footer now for a birdie. This kid hasn't made a birdie in his life, right? We get to the green. Everybody marks their ball. Normally, what's Max do? He walks up to the ball, doesn't mark it, putts, picks it up. Good putt, Ryan. Nice birdie, right? So he gets up to the green. I said, hey, he gets ready to putt it. I go, you didn't even line it up. I said, take a look at the putt. He doesn't even know what he's looking at. He's like, okay, Dad, yeah, all right, I got you. Okay. Walks on the other side. He can walk around it, just like a pro. Walks around it. He's like, okay, Dad, God's so good, you guys. He delivers the moment when you need it. Max gets over the putt. He goes, Dad, I think it's about 2 feet left to right. I don't know either, Max. Just, I'm telling him, yeah, that sounds good, dude. Pulls the putter back, drains it, birdie. Okay, both those guys make bogey. Now we're 9 back. This is where God comes in. Next hole, I'm like, you know what? Smash the driver, Max, right? Smash the driver, buddy. He's like, all right. I said, you got this. Bam! Smokes the driver. All 3 boys smoke the driver, except now I watch something. Max starts to walk in front of me. Now he's walking like this down there. Totally different human being. I'm like, oh, he walks like me now. He's walking like his dad, right? We get down there. It's a par 5. It's got 225 yards in. 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old. It's got 225 yards. Both these other boys lay up. I said, Max, we got to make up some ground. Smash this 3-wood on the green. He kind of looks at me. I said, hit it. No practice swing. There's a lake in front of the green. There's a block wall with rocks on it in front. Max walks up. I'm like, good shot. I'm like, Jesus, please give this boy a break. Please, Lord, please. And it comes down, hits the wall, right up in the air. And I kind of do this, and Max goes, yeah, Daddy. And I go, what? It hit the wall, went forward, and rolled to about 6 feet away from the hole. That's God. That ain't me, right? That's God. I'm like, all right. Little Ian drops one in the lake. Little Mikey drops one in the lake. We're sitting on the green with an eagle putt. I'm like, Max, knock this sucker in. Take a look at it, walk it off. Same bull crap. He doesn't look at it. He looks around, looks at it, gets up, makes an eagle. We go birdie eagle with the new shirt on. Birdie eagle, right? Now Max is like, Dad, we're going to win this thing. I'm like, we are, buddy. We're going to win. And we get all the way to 18. He's down 1. We've never even met in the tournament. We've never even talked about this crap before. He's down 1 going into 18. There's a lake in front of the green again. I said, smash the driver, Max. It's you and Ian. Ian was the other boy left. Smash the thing, man. Max is walking around like, I own this place now, right? Kind of one of these deals. I got it, Dad. I got it. Sure enough, bangs it down the middle. They're both about 8 feet away from each other. And I hear Ian's dad say, don't hit it in lake. I go, Max, in lake. He's gonna hit it in the lake. My son's like, this language, Dad. I'm like, don't, just today, right? Right? Just today. And so, sure enough, Ian dunks it in the lake. I'm like, Max, this smoothie, put a smoothie on it, buddy. Hit this 8-iron 10 feet. We're getting the hell out of here. We're going to win this thing. And he does. He hits it about 15 feet left, except Ian comes up with the clutchest shot ever and hits his next one to about that close, taps in. So Max makes the putt, he wins. If he 2-putts, we tie and go to a playoff. Here's where I'm stupid. I go, hey, it's a quick putt. Don't hit this thing too far past the hole. We 2-putt, we go to a playoff. You don't say that. My son goes, I swear to you on my children, okay? My son goes, Dad, I'm gonna make it. I go, okay, then make it. Dumps it in. Yeah! He jumps out, yeah, Dad! There's nobody there. There's no crowd. I'm picking him up, running on the other dads. So like, our kids win every week. I'm like, this is the greatest moment of my damn life, you know? Yeah! And Max couldn't believe it, couldn't believe he won, and it changed his life. Let me show you something. There he is with his medal after he won. Look at that little face. Now he's got his new shirt on, right? Right? And I know you look at that picture, you're like, he still stands like an unathletic dude. I know, but still, look at that. That changed his life. This is now me and him playing father-sons. You can look at that one. What's that say right there? Mylett, somewhere on there. 64. That's a pretty good score he shot that day. And that's when he's about 14. That's me and him now, playing at Cabo. He's a little bit bigger than his dad now. By the way, he's lost 80 pounds since that picture, gotten fit. And this is him signing his college scholarship to go play golf, right? So, why do I tell you that, right? That cool? That's awesome. All right. I got chills. Why do I tell you that? Because that day, we decided to stop playing golf, and we decided to start winning at golf.
Now let's summarize the ideas around using action to conquer fear and to build confidence and get moving towards success. First, be active, not passive. Strive to be someone who does things. Be a doer, not a don'ter. Don't wait until conditions are perfect to act. Conditions will never be perfect. Expect future obstacles and difficulties and solve them as they arise. Remember that ideas alone won't bring success. It's important to dream, but your ideas have value only when you act on them. Use action to cure fear and gain confidence. Do what you fear doing, and the fear of doing it disappears. Try it and see. Don't waste time getting ready to act. If you have trouble getting started, use the mechanical method to move your spirit. Don't wait for the spirit.
We're talking about self-confidence and the things that help build it as well as the things that can destroy it. One of the major obstacles to building self-confidence is often your own memory. Lack of confidence is one result of what I call a mismanaged memory. Here's how a mismanaged memory works.
Your brain is a lot like a bank. Every day you make thought deposits in your mind bank. And these thought deposits grow and become your memory. When you settle down to think, or when you face a problem, in effect, you say to your memory bank, "What do I already know about this?" Your memory bank automatically answers and supplies you with bits of information relating to this situation that you've deposited on previous occasions. Your memory, then, is the basic supplier of raw material for your new thought. Now, the teller in this memory bank of yours is very reliable. He does exactly what you tell him to do. If you approach him and say, "Mr. Teller, let me withdraw some thoughts I deposited in the past proving I'm inferior to just about everybody else," he'll say, "Right away, sir. Recall how you failed 2 times previously when you tried this? Recall what your 6th grade teacher told you about your inability to accomplish things? Recall what you overheard your fellow workers saying about you last week?" And so on and so forth. This teller will continue digging out of your brain thought after thought that proves you're inadequate. But suppose you visit this memory teller and you give him this request. "Mr. Teller, I face a difficult situation. Can you supply me with any thoughts that will give me reassurance?" And again, the teller says, "Right away, sir." But this time, he delivers thoughts you deposited earlier that say you can succeed. Recall that excellent job you did in a similar situation before? Recall how much confidence Mr. Sawyer placed in you. Recall the respect your friends have given you for your abilities in this area, and so forth. Your teller lets you withdraw the thought deposits that you want to withdraw. After all, it's your bank. So there are 2 specific things you can do to build confidence through efficient management of your memory bank. First, deposit only positive thoughts in your memory bank. After all, everyone faces plenty of unpleasant, embarrassing, and discouraging situations. But unsuccessful and successful people deal with these situations in opposite ways. Unsuccessful people dwell on them and make them prominent in their memory. They don't take their minds away from them. At night, the unpleasant situation is often the last thing they think about. Successful people, on the other hand, don't give these situations another thought. Once they've gotten through them, they don't put them in the forefront of their memories. Quite the contrary. Successful people specialize in putting positive thoughts into their memory banks. Imagine what would happen to your car's engine if you scooped up a handful of dirt every morning and put it into the crankcase. That engine would soon be a mess. It wouldn't be able to do what you wanted it to. Negative thoughts have the same effect on your mind and your confidence. They produce needless wear and tear on your mental motor. They put you on the side of the road while others drive ahead. So get in the habit of depositing positive thoughts into your memory bank. Just before you go to sleep, count your blessings. Recall the many good things you can be thankful for. Your family, your friends, your health. Recall the good things you saw people do today and the good things you heard them say. Recall your own personal victories and accomplishments, large and small. Go over the reasons why you're glad to be alive. The second thing you can do to build confidence through efficient management of your memory bank is to withdraw only positive thoughts from it. When you're alone with your thoughts, driving your car or having a quick lunch, or maybe on a business trip alone in the evening, don't dwell on whatever problems or troubles may be in your life at the moment. Remember instead the positive things, the good times you've had, the successes, the reasons that you're doing as well as you are. Mental health professionals tell us that some people create, in effect, their own private museums of mental horror by excluding positive thoughts from their memories and dwelling on negative ones to the point of obsession. These are obviously extreme cases, but many of us tip the balance to the negative in our memory banks, and that can often impede our personal progress. And whether the psychological problem is big or little, the cure comes when you learn to quit drawing negatives from your memory bank and draw positives instead. Don't build mental monsters. Refuse to withdraw unpleasant thoughts from your memory bank. When you remember situations of any kind, concentrate on the good part of the experience. Forget the bad. If you find yourself thinking about the negative side, turn your mind to something else. Take a nap, go for a bike ride, work in the yard. You don't need negative thoughts. You can live much better on a pure diet of positive ones. The encouraging thing that you'll discover if you practice these attitudes is that your mind will cooperate with you. Your mind really doesn't want the negative thoughts. If you ignore them, your teller will eventually cancel them out of your memory bank.
One of the most common mental monsters we build is our impression of other people and how we measure up to them. People often fear other people. Why is it? Why do so many people feel self-conscious around other people? And what can we do about it? Fear of other people is a big, big fear. But there is one way to conquer it. You can overcome that fear if you learn to put people into proper perspective.
I remember when I was inducted into the Army back in 1942, I was a very shy, confused young man, and I thought that everybody was bigger than I was, stronger, smarter, in every way superior to me. And my experience in the induction center really taught me something different. I saw maybe 1,000 people come through there who were tall, skinny, smart, dumb. In any event, they were all just almost as confused as I was. In fact, in many cases, much more confused. So I started gaining a sense of worth about myself, realizing that the people that are my peers are just as confused and just as scared as I am about this world that we're entering into.
When this event became real is when you enrolled yourself. Before that, it was an idea. And there's lots of people who intended to be here, but they never locked it in. So I lock it in advance, because if I hadn't locked it in after Date with Destiny, there's no way I would have got on a plane, flown all the way there, and then put myself in a room for 7 days and nights. But I'm grateful I did. And I only did it because I already locked it in place. So I encourage you, number one, figure out at least twice a year, what are you going to go to that's going to make you grow and expand? How many of you feel like these last couple days have been some of the most growth you've had in a couple of days here? Say aye. Then why settle for this one time? Again, I'm happy to do it with you. I have other programs if you want to come, but you're not limited to me. I don't care where you go. But before you leave here, you should schedule what's next. Do you know why? Because how many were looking forward to this for a long time and very excited about this? I'm curious. How many were quite scared about this shit? By the way, I'm curious. But here's what's interesting. After you achieve a goal, have you ever done this? Worked your ass off, achieved a goal, and you feel good, and then there's kind of a drop. Because we need something compelling to be going after, so we keep growing. So I always, right before I achieve a goal, I immediately set what the next thing is. And I lock it in my schedule, because otherwise there's that drop. And if I have the next thing, it's like you're going from peak to peak, as opposed to peak to drop to peak to drop. How many follow what I'm talking about here? Say aye. And the other thing I've learned, I taught this to all my children. And one time my daughter was talking to me, she's like, Dad, you're so brilliant. And I said, you're absolutely right. And I said, honey, I am a smart human being. I've worked hard to be a smart human being, but probably my greatest gift is I do not let opportunity escape my grasp. If there's an opportunity and it scares me, if there's an opportunity and I don't have the time, if there's an opportunity and I don't have the money, in the early days of my life, all three of them, I didn't have time, the money, and I was fearful. I make myself do it because I know that if I don't get myself to do that, I'm not going to keep growing. My teacher, Jim Rohn, used to teach me this. He said, Tony, if you really want to have an amazing life, you got to learn to stretch yourself. I said, well, I do stretch myself. He goes, but let me give you my philosophy of stretching. He said, stretching means if you find yourself saying I can't do something, then you must say I must do it immediately and do it with no hesitancy. Because if you hesitate, it's like the fire walk. If you went up to the fire walk, most of you got up there, made your move and rock. Some of you got up there and were like, fuck, oh, shit, what am I doing here? And the longer you wait, the what it is. harder it is. So you just train yourself to just do it. Instinctively push yourself. So if I say I can't, then I must. Now, when he first told me this, I said, well, if I can't, I must. If I can't jump off a cliff, then I must. He said, no, be intelligent. But he said, if you find yourself saying, I can't do something, I don't want to do something, but you know if you made yourself do it, you're going to be a better human being, then you must do it. Don't hesitate, do it immediately. And so some people say, well, that's not a very safe life. That's not a very secure life. If you want security, go to prison. If you want freedom, this is how you live. So once you've got events where you're going to make huge growth, the next thing you want to do, throw it up to number 2, is you really want to get yourself a coach or a mentor. Why do you want a coach or a mentor? You're smart. Well, I got a series of mentors. I've got 3 men in my life who are the smartest humans I know, some of the most successful people in the world in business, spiritually, emotionally well-developed. They're 18 to 20 years my senior. And guess what? I come to them all the time for accountability and feedback. Because as much as I know to drive myself, you don't do brain surgery on yourself even if you're a brain surgeon. Does it make sense? You need some feedback from the outside because you're still in it. And so getting a coach is critical. Now I get paid $1 million a year to coach someone and I only take on 7 clients and I got now a 5-year waiting list. So I'm not looking for any coaching clients. But I've trained all of my coaches to do the same things I do and they don't charge $1 million a year, not even close. So you can use our coaches if you want or someone else, but what you don't want to do is have a friend be your coach. Why? I'll give you an example. A few years back, I was on this talk show that's in the morning. I won't mention the name, but it has a bunch of ladies. What's the name of it? The View. That's right, I won't mention it. And I was on The View, and it was when Barbara Walters was still on, and Barbara's a brilliant, amazing lady. And they had me on in January, and I was doing a piece on New Year, New Life, how to transform your energy and your body. And when I was done talking, it was a little 7-minute segment. All 5 women, I guess it was, 5 women followed me into the green room, literally, during the break. And they said, listen, before the TV comes back on, we want to do this. You know, tell us more, how are we going to do this? And we want to do this together. And when they said they wanted to do it together, I was like, hold it. I said, can I be direct with you on this? I said, Barbara, you know how much I respect you and all of you, but can I be direct? They said, well, yeah. I said, well, I respect you. You're some of the best in the world at what you do as journalists. I said, you have an incredible show, #1 radio show. You've been in the years. Barbara, you're a role model for anyone who wants to be successful, man or woman. But there's an area of your life none of you have mastered. Your body. I'm not being harsh. I have to tell the truth because the truth is how you get to the things to change. And you should have seen them look around and be like, oh my God, he just said we're fat. I didn't say they're fat. I said you haven't mastered this area of your life. And I said, here's the problem. If you guys get together now and none of you have mastered this area and you're all friends, you'll do this for 2 or 3 days, but about the 3rd or 4th day in, one of you's going to go, I want to go to Starbucks and have a mocha smocha something, whatever that shit's called, right? And someone else can say, no, we got to work out. And they go, but can't we just stop for a few minutes? And then someone else will say, well, we could stop for a few minutes. And then you're fucked! Because you'll break the pattern. I said, have you ever done this before? And they started shaking their heads. They said, it's happened multiple times. I said, don't do this together. I know you love each other. That's why you shouldn't do it together. Get a professional. And when you go, I want to mocha smoke, they'll go, shut the fuck up and run! You need someone who's not going to listen to your bullshit and is going to push you until you develop the discipline, until you develop the skill. And even then, they're going to know the little things, the 2-millimeter things you don't know that could save you a decade. How many follow this? Say I. So don't get a good coach, get an outstanding one. And the problem is I created the coaching industry. Before I came along, no one called himself a coach in this industry. There wasn't this industry. You had to be a therapist and you got approved by insurance. And I came along and said, these therapists are sitting down with people for 7 effing years and I can wipe out that phobia in 20 minutes or an hour. And so I went around and I said, I got to figure out who I am. I'm not a motivator. I never was. You know, I'm not a guru. What am I? And I thought, well, as an athlete, who influenced me the most were my coaches. And many of them were not as good as I was, but I'm in the game. I'm in the forest. They're outside of it. They could see things and give me cues, and they cared about me. So I said, that's what I am. Forget athletics. I'm a coach. I love people. I'm not better than they are, but I'm going to see things they can't see because this is my focus, right? And so I did that, and for many years I called myself a coach. No one did, and I remember I was on Larry King Live, and I just started coaching President Clinton, and he goes, what is this coaching thing? You're not a coach. You don't coach athletes. I said, well, actually I do, but I said, no, here's what I mean by coach. And I was about to give it up, and like within the next 6 months, everybody was a coach. Therapist started calling themselves coaches. Financial planners started calling themselves coaches. It became a term of art. Now I hate it. You know why? There's no standard, right? Anybody can say they'll call themselves a coach. Anybody go out there and do it. They go to some class, some idiot teaches them 3 skills. They've never produced the fucking result in their life, and they're a coach. So I feel like I created a bastard industry. And so like any industry, there's good and bad. You got to find somebody who's outstanding. Don't settle for somebody's good, and don't settle for somebody because you like them. Because liking them is a nice thing. You need somebody who has the skill to get you there. Who's with me on this? Say I. And why do we want to coach? So you measure at least twice a month, some of you 3 times a month. Because if you don't measure, you can't manage what you don't measure. Does that make sense? And you got to measure it, and it's easy with your children, with your life, with your businesses. You're going to get caught up. You need somebody helping you to stay on target for what you want for your life. How many follow? Say I. And it's cheap. Most coaching is inexpensive, and the people that overcharge, don't go to them. But get somebody who's really great. And then finally, thirdly, and this is what I want to show you this morning, you need a daily practice. And a daily practice that's going to put you in the best state possible regularly. And so there's 2 parts of the daily practice. One is you want to feed your mind every day for at least 30 minutes. And when I say feed your mind, my teacher Jim Rohn used to say, miss a meal, but don't miss reading for 30 minutes. And I don't mean reading the web or your social media bullshit or Twitter. I mean reading a real book that you've selected because it's going to make you grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially. Something that makes you think, something that gives you a strategy, not some cute little blog post that you can read in 5 minutes. I mean something that's going to make you not be mental candy, something that's going to produce a different result. Because our lives are the result of the input. Input a bunch of garbage and get garbage out. So I would like never miss reading, and then I started listening to audios when I was really young. And the great thing about audios is you can do what I call net time, no extra time. So the biggest challenge we have is when am I going to read? When am I going to do this? When am I going to do all these things? The answer is it doesn't take any extra time. If you use net time, you can do it while you're cleaning the house, while you're working out, going for a walk, when you're driving in your car, should be your new university, where you're feeding your mind. Because if you don't feed your mind, weeds grow automatically. You don't have to work on growing weeds. They're going to be there if you don't do something to replace it. So every day, 30 minutes of either audio or a book, something that's going to make you grow. It'll feed your mind. It'll keep the momentum going. So this won't be just the one burst. This will be the one that got you going. And then you keep the momentum by doing this. And then finally, and most importantly, many people, the most silly question I'm asked in the media all the time for 40 years is, don't you have bad days? Don't you get upset? Don't these things happen? Of course, but I said, I don't stay there. I've trained myself like an athlete trains their muscles. I've trained my emotional muscles, which, by the way, I think your emotional and spiritual muscles are the most important ones. Courage unused, does it grow or shrink? Which one? Faith unemployed, unused, does it grow or diminish? Diminishes. Passion unexpressed, does it expand or shrink? So the most important muscles that change your life are those mental, emotional, spiritual muscles. If we develop them more, we're going to experience more. So the way I do that is through a process I call priming. And this is the part that I really want you to get because it's really simple. Most of us, have you ever seen someone do something and thought to yourself, what the F is wrong with this idiot? Who's ever had that thought? How many of you ever done something yourself and thought, what the F am I doing? Okay? Many times we think we're thinking our own thoughts when we're not. We've been primed by the environment to think a certain way and we don't even realize it. Now, sometimes that's done consciously by marketers or advertisers. That's a simplistic example. But a more powerful example is what happens in your daily life. So let me give you a couple examples so you become aware of the power of priming. And then I want to show you how you can consciously prime your own mind and body and emotion so you naturally go where you want to go as opposed to hoping you go there. So some of the studies on priming have shown that what you think are your thoughts actually got there because something in the environment that you're no longer noticing. So an example of this would be, they did a study and they took 2 actors and they both approached 100 people each, and the actors were designed to do the exact same thing. They walk up to people, they have the same facial expression, and they'd say, well, you're sitting there, excuse me, could you hold this for me for 1 second while I grab my phone? And they hand you this cup of coffee. And then they reach in their pocket to get their phone for 2 seconds, and they put it back real fast, and they go, thank you so much, and they take it back. And every time they did it exactly the same way with all the people, 200 people, 100 each. Each person did 100 people, but 50 of those people they gave hot coffee to. 50 of the people they gave iced coffee to. Now listen to this. This is mind-boggling. After 35 to 45 minutes, roughly, a person walks by outdoors or at the mall, wherever they did this. They have a checkboard, clipboard. And they go, excuse me, we'll give you $20 if you'll give us 3 minutes of your time to read these 3 paragraphs and answer 2 questions. 95% of people do it. $20, 3 minutes, I'll do it. And they read these 3 paragraphs, which is this story about this main protagonist. And then the 2 questions are, tell us what's the first emotion that you link to the main character, and what's the second one? Those are the 2 questions. When they do this with people they had hot coffee to, 80% of the people, 81% to be exact, roughly 80, 81, say that the person they read the story about is generous and warm. Sometimes they add the word loving, but generous and warm is always there. The people who have the exact same presentation 34 or 40 minutes earlier who were given iced coffee, 80%, there's a 1% difference which is statistically irrelevant, 80% of them say the person is cold and uncaring. And the only difference is 35 or 40 minutes earlier somebody handed you a hot or cold cup of coffee. That's wild, isn't it?